One Zambia, One Nation. Good evening. Welcome to the main news on TV1. My name is Chilufya Mwelwa, and on sign language tonight is Chola Kaoma. Top stories in the news this hour. President Edgar Lungu has made changes at cabinet and at permanent secretary level. Former Vice President Lupando Mwape has died. A multi-sectoral mission to Zambia organized by the Belgium-Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce is in the country to look for partnerships with local companies and possible investment opportunities. And coming up in sports news, football fans have urged Zambia's envoys in the CAF Confederations Cup, Zesco United and Nkana football clubs to prepare adequately for the competition. Now, details in our news this hour. President Edgar Lungu has made changes at cabinet and at permanent secretary level. This has seen Central Province Permanent Secretary Chanda Kabwe elevated to the position of Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU National Coordinator under the Vice President's office. And Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, will act as Secretary to Cabinet after the expiry of Dr. Roland Msiska's contract next month. Presidential spokesperson Amos Chanda has disclosed these and other changes to ZNBC News in Lusaka today. Etambuyu Katota reports.
After February 20, 2019, Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet in charge of administration, Patrick Kangwa, will act as Secretary to the Cabinet, taking over from Dr. Roland Msiska, whose contract comes to an end and is redeployed to Zambia Atomic Agency. Ndashe Yumba, who was Permanent Secretary for Management Development Division at Cabinet Office, is now Permanent Secretary for Lands, swapping with Trevor Kaunda. Central Province Permanent Secretary Chanda Kabwe will now head the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, while Yande Mwape, who was Coordinator, becomes Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs. The contract of Michael Pwete, who was Permanent Secretary at Ministry of Chiefs, has not been renewed. Community Development Permanent Secretary Dr. Leah Mutale moves to Ministry of Home Affairs in charge of refugees, while her counterpart at Home Affairs, Pamela Kabamba, goes to the Ministry of Community Development. Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of General Education, Dr. Felix Biri, is now Lopula Province Permanent Secretary, while Dr. Buletin Semukila goes to Eastern Province in the same capacity. Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Chanda Kasolo becomes Information Permanent Secretary, taking over from Godfrey Malama, whose contract has not been renewed. Muchinga Province Permanent Secretary Jobix Kalumba is now General Education Permanent Secretary, while Deputy Permanent Secretary Joyce Nsamba has been promoted to Permanent Secretary for Muchinga Province. Director of Infrastructure at the Ministry of Health, Mulale Lukakulubelwa, has been elevated to Permanent Secretary in charge of administration at the same ministry. Health Permanent Secretary in charge of Technical Services moves to Cabinet Office on holding position. Deputy Permanent Secretary for Western Province, Bernard Chomba, has been promoted to Permanent Secretary for Central Province. Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Willis Manjimela, becomes Permanent Secretary for Northwestern Province, taking over from Ephraim Mateo, whose contract has not been renewed.
The purpose for the changes is an ongoing process to improve operational efficiency of the civil service, and these changes in the government administration and structure will be ongoing, so that there is optimum performance of both the civil service at PS level, politicians at ministerial level, and all areas of government appointments. The President wants maximum operational efficiency.
Mwinilunga District Commissioner Daniel Buleti becomes Deputy Permanent Secretary for Western Province. Etambuyu Katota, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
In a related development, Deputy Commissioner of Police for Lusaka Province, Geoffrey Kunda, has been transferred to Eastern Province in the same capacity, while Commissioner of Police for that region, Alex Chilufya, moves to Police Headquarters as Commissioner of Police for Operations. Deputy Commissioner of Police for Eastern Province, Sharon Zulu, moves to Lusaka in the same capacity. And President Lungu says Zambia stands by the African Union's position that Africa should be given 2 permanent seats with veto powers on the UN Security Council, as espoused in the Ezulweni Consensus. The head of state was speaking when he received letters of credence from 12 high commissioners and ambassadors designated at State House today. Mark Ziligone now reports.
One by one, they presented their letters of credence to President Edgar Lungu before taking up their positions. These are the 12 high commissioners and ambassadors designated to Zambia. Speaking after receiving the letters, President Lungu disclosed the country's position on the UN Security Council.
We remain, as a country, committed to participating in regional, continental and multilateral programs such as Agenda 2063 and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This also includes the reform of the United Nations Security Council, where Zambia, as a member of the C10, continues to stand by the common African position for 2 permanent seats to be reserved for Africa. I must make this very clear. There's really consensus in Africa, which is the common African position on the reforms of the UN Security Council.
President Lungu also encouraged the new high commissioners and ambassadors to market Zambia in their respective countries.
We have rich tourist attractions comprising waterfalls countrywide, lakes with beautiful beaches, rivers, gorges, and diverse wildlife. Our country is home to the world-famous Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the world. I'm therefore confident that through your respective appointments, you will actively market Zambia as a favorable tourism and investment destination, as well as a trade partner of choice.
The high commissioners and ambassadors that presented their letters include Finland Ambassador to Zambia, Perjo Chodori, Namibian High Commissioner to Zambia, Haindongo Siave, Australia Ambassador Christian Fellner, and Republic of Djibouti Ambassador Yassine Bo. Others are Mali Ambassador to Zambia Damo Keita, Steinar Hagen of Norway, Canada's High Commissioner to Zambia Pamela O'Donnell, Ambassador Designate of the Kingdom of Belgium to Zambia Peter Acker, and Cyril Hante of Guyana. Mark Ziligone, ZNBC News, State House.
A multi-sectoral mission to Zambia organized by the Belgian-Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce is in the country to look for partnerships with local companies and possible investment opportunities. Vice President of the Belgian-Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce, Alexander Herring, said the mission is attracted by the country's fast-growing economy. Mr. Herring says the main attractive sectors in Zambia are mining and agriculture, and that Belgian companies can contribute to Zambia's diversification agenda. He was speaking during the Zambia-Belgium Business Forum in Lusaka today. And Minister of Commerce, Christopher Yaluma, said the Zambian government attaches importance to consolidating trade ties with Belgium. Mr. Yaluma said this in a speech read on his behalf by Ministry of Commerce Chief Economist Aaron Motale.
Is of special significance to the relation between Zambia and Belgium, because the aim is not only to broaden and deepen the scope of relation between the 2 countries, but also to stimulate more direct interaction between the business communities in the 2 countries through the promotion of trade and investment cooperation. Captains of industries, Government of the Republic of Zambia has continued to implement favorable investment climate, policies and reforms. We know that the key drivers to attracting investment include political stability, abundance of attractive investment opportunities, appropriate legal and regulatory framework, good corporate governance, and availability of transport and communication infrastructure.
The multi-sectoral mission coming to Zambia consists on various sectors. So we have companies from various sectors, from the energy sector, from the transport sector, the ICT sector, the agriculture sector, the food sector, which are important sectors also for Zambia. We have realized that Zambia has a very static and fast growth in economy, we also realized that Belgium is the 5th export country of Zambia, and also that the export from Belgium to Zambia have doubled in the last 5 years. So Zambia is getting an important business partner, an export partner for Belgium. The sectors which are represented here through our companies are also key sectors for Zambia.
Meanwhile, Livestock and Fisheries Minister Kampamba Chewe has urged farmers to take livestock farming as a business. Mrs. Chewe said this during the launch of the Smallholder Livestock Restocking Program in Kalulushi. She said government, through Enhanced Smallholder Livestock Investment Program, ESLIP, is taking steps aimed at boosting livestock production and productivity. And Chieftainess Shimukunami praised government for the gesture. The chieftainess said she will support the program and help those that want to venture into livestock and fisheries. Now, First Lady Esther Lungu says her trip to the United States of America is the beginning of the transformation of the fire and rescue services in Zambia. Mrs. Lungu says the institutional linkage between the Los Angeles Fire Department and the Zambia Fire and Rescue Service, which she is expected to launch while in California, will usher in a continuous flow of fire apparatus from the USA to Zambia. The First Lady is confident that the anticipated collaboration between Lusaka and the city of Los Angeles will facilitate the movement of knowledge and fire equipment to Zambia.
For historical perspective, to see how firefighting has evolved in Los Angeles, and what me and my team, especially the technicians that I came with and the Demand Secretary from the Ministry of Local Government, to see how their colleagues are working, you know, knowing that things have now taken a different dimension. So the firefighting that we could be doing back home in Zambia is far different from what it is here now. So I guess it will be an eye-opener to the firefighting officers that I came with from Zambia.
The First Lady is tomorrow expected to tour the African American Firefighting Museum in Los Angeles for knowledge exchange on how firefighting has evolved in America. Now, government is concerned with the falling standards of journalism in the country, despite huge investments in the sector. Information and Broadcasting Services Minister Dora Silia says government has invested in digital technology across the country, which is unfortunately being overshadowed by low standards of journalism. Ms. Silia says most journalism is limited to politics, with almost no other stories of public interest. She was speaking during the launch of the Bloomberg Media Initiative Africa Financial Journalism Training, which will be facilitated by the University of Zambia and Lusaka University. And University of Zambia Vice-Chancellor Luke Mumba said the media plays an important role in informing citizens. Meanwhile, University of Lusaka Vice-Chancellor Pinalo Chifonakeni said information is important for the country's development. And Bloomberg Media Initiative Africa Director Erana Stenet said financial reporting is important because it will attract investment, and which is critical for Zambia, whose economic growth is expanding rapidly.
I believe that the Bloomberg Media Africa Initiative and the Zambian people, as well as the Zambian media, will make great partners. Ladies and gentlemen, as government, we have observed with great concern that journalism standards in the country have gone down. This is a paradox, considering that the media industry is growing very rapidly. Government has also invested heavily in broadcasting media with digital technology across the country. There are currently over 115 radio stations, over 55 television stations, over 11 newspaper publications, as well as a number of online publications.
Is that education and training never ends. And to the extent that we can continue our education, we really ought to do that. These two foundations is going to make it possible for you to take this training that really, when you add in the value, it's well over 25,000 USD. So it is a generous gift that they're making to us, and I'm delighted to share it with you.
The media plays an important role in ensuring that citizens are well informed, and also that Zambians can use that information to make informed decisions. The University of Zambia prides itself as being an institution anchored on service and excellence.
If we say country X has invested so much money in country Y, we should be able to see a positive effect on the value of that country X that has been invested into.
Ngucha Energy Limited has instructed its lawyers to sue Ron Member of Parliament Chishimba Kambwili for defamation. Lawyer Paul Katupisha from Milner and Paul Legal Practitioners has alleged that Mr. Kambwili issued a statement on one of the radio stations suggesting that Ngucha filling stations are owned by President Edgar Lungu. He told ZNBC News that Ngucha as a company started operating way before President Lungu was elected as a Member of Parliament. Mr. Katupisha said the decision to sue Mr. Kambwili follows the lapsing of the period in which he was asked to apologize and retract his statement. He said his client is disappointed with the alleged comments made by Mr. Kambwili. You're watching the news on TV1. We take our first break. We have more news after that. Stay with us. Welcome back. We continue with the news. Government has threatened to close unlicensed private tertiary institutions on the Copper Belt. Higher Education Permanent Secretary Mavuto Sakala says government will not compromise the quality of education being delivered in tertiary institutions. Mr. Sakala says government has also noted with concern the over-enrollment in technical, vocational and entrepreneurs training TVET institutions, making the delivery of quality education a challenge. The Permanent Secretary was speaking in Kitwe when he delivered a keynote address during the 3-day workshop organized by the Ministry of Higher Education for TVET institutions. Cleophas Takaiza said the forum is aimed at reviewing the TVETA examination framework, among many others.
TVET institutions across the country that in executing your mandates, there is need to carefully balance students' enrollment to the staff and the facilities available to avoid overstretching any of these critical resources and to ensure delivery of quality training in a conducive environment both for the staff and the learners. Institutions operating without registration and licensing will be closed down without hesitation, and any college offering training must not compromise on quality and relevance.
To invite the key stakeholders to a forum where it is expected that we shall together review our examination frameworks and develop a system that meets the expectations of everyone, taking into consideration best practice.
Ballot papers for the Sesheke parliamentary by-election and 7 other local government by-elections have been delivered in the country, and political parties that witnessed the delivery of ballot papers are happy with the work done by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. PF Elections Committee member Sonile Hamarwa said the ruling party is happy with the conduct of the ECZ from the filing in of nominations up to the printing of ballot papers. And UPND's Obet Shibenzu said so far the opposition party is satisfied with the process, which has proved to be transparent. The Sesheke parliamentary seat fell vacant following the death of UPND area Member of Parliament Frank Kufakwandi on November 12, 2018.
Confident that the candidates that were filled in as Patriotic Front are best candidates, and definitely they are going to win. And we urge all the people of Sesheke and in these different places that they come and vote for development. And the people that are providing development is the Patriotic Front. So we are very grateful that the process so far has been very transparent and that the process is very smooth and that other parties also are represented here. Even the UPND party is represented here.
Ballot papers, and transparently we have seen them. Everything is okay at the moment. We can't say anything. We hope the process will be like this throughout the election process. I don't have much to say. I think that's all. Otherwise, we thank you all. We want free and fair elections, no violence. We should be responsible. But Zambia has grown 57 years of independence. We need to change our mindset. Let us be human, work within the norms of the law.
Former Vice President Lupando Mwape has died. President Edgar Lungu has announced the death of Mr. Mwape, who died at Harvard Hospital in South Africa. Mr. Mwape died this morning around 06:05 hours. President Lungu has since sent a message of condolences to the bereaved family. The president has instructed cabinet to proceed with preparations for the state funeral in honor of the former vice president. Meanwhile, Secretary to the Cabinet, Roland Msiska, has announced a 3-day national mourning in honor of Mr. Mwape. Mr. Mwape's remains will be repatriated on Friday. Mr. Mwape was initially admitted at UTH before Vice President Inongewina ordered his repatriation to South Africa. And the Bemba royal establishment has described the death of the former vice president as a loss to the nation. Paramount Chief Chitimukulu of the Bemba people said Mr. Mwape will be remembered for his commitment to promoting cooperation between government and the royal establishment. The Paramount Chief said the Bemba royal establishment will miss the contribution of Mr. Mwape towards improving the lives of the people. He said this in a telephone interview with ZNBC News in Lusaka. Whilst serving as Vice President, Mr. Mwape was Lukasha Member of Parliament, which falls in the jurisdiction of Paramount Chief Chitimukulu. Political parties contesting the Sesheke parliamentary by-election slated for February 12th have expressed confidence in scooping the seat. United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia UPPZ spokesperson Francis Kope says the people of Sesheke have been disappointed for a long time and now need someone who will actualize the promise of development. And PF Media Director Sunday Chanda says he's confident that his party will win because it has shown that it is able to take development to Sesheke. Meanwhile, UPND Deputy Spokesperson Cornelius Moetwa says the UPND is getting support and is confident of scooping the seat. And People's Alliance for Change, PAC Secretary General Gerald Mulao, told ZNBC News in a telephone interview that the party will win because it is the only one with a female candidate.
We are taking the message of development to our people in Sesheke, and the message has been received very, very well in Sesheke. And there's no doubt whatsoever that the people of Sesheke will give the Patriotic Front a vote this time around in Sesheke for the simple reason that Sesheke desires to move at the same pace with other areas of this country. Other districts are developing. How much more, and why should Sesheke lag behind? So there's a very strong wave in Sesheke for the Patriotic Front.
The people of Sesheke are open-minded and they are ready to listen. They have been disappointed a number of times, and they are looking at somebody who is mature, somebody who can keep their promises, someone who will bring meaningful change to Sesheke. You know that it's a border constituency near Namibia, and our candidate, Mr. Victor Kalimukanda, is somebody who is mature. He's above 50 years. He's 53, in fact, and in a semi-rural constituency, basically what people are looking for is somebody who can understand and who knows their problems and who is looking at the plight.
And
we are very, very confident of winning Sesheke by-election. This is a democracy. Today PF wins, tomorrow UPND wins. This is the way it should be. We are not at war. We are brothers and sisters. We are together in this. We are not at war. It's not like a winning at all cost. It is winning by favor of the electorates. The people of Sesheke will decide who becomes the winner on the 12th of next month.
University of Zambia UNZA lecturer and political analyst Chris Zimba has called on the Zambia Center for Interparty Dialogue and the three church mother bodies to resolve their differences. Mr. Zimba says it is sad that an important process has been hijacked when it is supposed to be done in the interest of Zambians. He told ZNBC News that it will be risky to trust the two parties with a national dialogue process if they fail to resolve their differences.
The key two allies or camps have brutally failed to agree and dialogue between themselves as leaders and facilitators of the political dialogue. I think it's very important to note that it simply means that they are morally incapable to provide leadership, to bring rival political stakeholders to a dialogue because, as I said, themselves failed to harmonize and agree in terms of how to jointly conduct and facilitate this process. So even the dialogue which was launched last Friday, it's very important to put on record that it is bound to fail because it lacks the moral, legal and political legitimacy.
We'll take our second break. We have more news after that. Don't go away. Welcome back. We continue with the news. Government is impressed with the amount of progress made by Sunbird Bioenergy Africa at its 20,000 hectare cassava project in Kawambwa, Chitondo area. Luapula Province Minister Nixon Chilangwa says the planting of the initial 120 hectares of cassava nurseries is a demonstration of how serious Sunbird is about the project. Mr. Chilangwa was speaking when he addressed the first group of workers that have been employed by the company. Kawambwa District Commissioner Ivo Mpasa said the Sunbird project will uplift the lives of the people of Kawambwa. And speaking on behalf of the workers, Collins Kabila thanked government for creating job opportunities for Kawambwa residents.
Impressed, and this is what we promised the people of Kawambwa, the people of Luapula, that Sunbird is coming and is coming for real. 130 hectares is about to be planted in full. Already half of this land has already been planted. To our colleagues here, tuombeshe tuposi kwa mano kunchito tuchikatirire echi. Ya sopo ene yakula moneka, ya mchere yakula moneka, ya mabuksi yakula moneka. Ubosesha ba investor huko ate chishinka, ubunanga nitabulisha kasuma.
We have 10,000 hectares to Sunbird and 10,000 hectares to our outgrower farmers. In all, they will need about 20,000 outgrower farmers. Those are indirect jobs. And those farmers are going to employ. So this is a project with multiplier effects, economically, socially, politically, and everything. So for us as people of Kawambwa, this is like a dream come true.
Copperbelt Province Minister Jaffen Mwakalombe has urged Zambian contractors to learn from their Chinese counterparts on how they manage to execute quality works. Mr. Mwakalombe said this today when he toured the $449 million Kafulafuta Dam project sitting between Masaiti and Mpongwe districts. Zanis reports.
He has toured the construction works here at the $449 million United States Kafulafuta water project sitting between the two districts of Mpongwe and Masaiti. Copperbelt Province Minister Jaffen Mwakalombe was on a fact-finding mission following several complaints that the contractor, China National Complete Engineering Corporation, is subcontracting Chinese contractors instead of Zambians. He is, however, happy that the picture here is different as opposed to the reports.
On the dam site, we have over 380 employees building this dam. And for the both pump station and the pipelines, we have over 410 local employees.
What is making me happy or giving me the comfort is that you have come up with this database.
After the tour, The minister held a briefing where he has called on Copperbelt residents not to mock Chinese contractors, but learn from them.
What we should be saying is, how can we work together with the Chinese companies?
Meanwhile, Copperbelt Patriotic Front chairman Nathan Chanda has thanked President Edgar Lungu for bringing this multi-million-dollar project which would transform people's lives through the provision of quality water.
A lot of our people in Luansha and some parts of other districts where this project will go have been experiencing water bruise.
Vine Innovations is one of the local contractors that have been engaged under the 20% local contractors policy.
It's a nice move because Zambians will benefit.
Frank Chingambo reporting from the Copperbelt province for Zanis.
Vision Ambassadors, a non-government organization, has donated assorted cleaning agents and crutches to the maternity ward at Solwezi General Hospital worth 10,000 kwacha. Northwestern Province Vision Ambassadors chairperson, Vanengi Chali, says her organization has decided to make the donation at the hospital to help maintain cleanliness. She says her organization's core values and objectives are to help the needy and vulnerable in society.
Values and objectives are to help the needy and vulnerable people and communities, because we believe that is the only way we can add value to the society, by meeting the needs of the society in the stated core values. And that is why today we are making this donation of cleaning materials and crutches worth 10,000 kwacha. We do appreciate the government's efforts in ensuring that it meets the needs of the people in the society through the provision of various services such as health. However, we do recognize the fact that the government alone cannot meet all the needs. And that is where organizations such as us, the Vision Ambassadors, come in to supplement government's efforts.
We take our last commercial break. When we come back, we have sports update. Stay with us. Well, that's it. That's where we end the news for tonight. We'll be back at 22 hours with another detailed bulletin. My name is Chilufia Mwelwa. Bye for now.